You hear that? Sounds like basketball's bouncing.
Training camp is back. Psychos and Sickos unite for a training camp edition of PHNX Suns presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHNX365. Deposit 10. Place a bet for 5 and get $200 in bonus bets. It's never ordinary with Bet365. It's never ordinary with PHNX Suns. As always, I'm Eric Ruby. That is Stephen Prejean Garner. We got the Juice Man, a.k.a. the Freckled Mamba, who did not drop 50 in Rec League last night. Our team didn't even drop 50 in Rec League last night. It was bad. It was ugly. Quite the opposite from Suns Media Day yesterday. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take you through what Mark Williams, Ryan Dunn, and Dillon Brooks, the rest of the starting lineup, had to say at Media Day and our biggest takeaways from that. Steven, you were out at training camp day one, so we'll have a couple clips from there as well. But what was your big takeaway from being out there? Training camps finally started, talking with Dillon Brooks, Jordan Ott, Ryan Dunn. What are you walking away with after day one?
I mean, there's an air of confidence from all of the individuals in the practice facility. I can't speak to having seen Nash or someone like Steve Clifford in the building. I don't know if they were there by the time we were allowed to go in, but I saw G League coaches there for the Valley Suns. I saw a ton of guys just putting in extra efforts after practice was done. Whatever drills they were going through, it was competitive. There was a clear tone-setting type of energy that they're clearly in desire of building off of in today's day one for training camp.
And that makes sense, right? I mean, that's what they were all saying at Media Day yesterday about how hard everybody works and how hard their head coach works and how that sets the standard. I mean, the real test, and not to get like Debbie Downer, is like, what are they going to do when the going gets tough? Because I think it's easy to work hard right now. Right? It's that new, it's like, your back to school feeling like, oh, everything's fun, everything's fine. You haven't really hit any adversity yet. What do you do when bleep hits the fan? But I like that. I like that general air of confidence and stuff. And, you were even able to catch up with Jordan Ott, and you found a pretty funny quote from him about how he handles being patient with all of the young guys on the roster and everything. And this is what your head coach of the Phoenix Suns had to say.
My patience gets more tested at home. I got a 4 and a 2-year-old and coaching basketball, so that's what we signed up to do. Like, we're going to help them. Every time that they're around us, we're going to help be a part of the solution that we're going to find. So it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's whatever it takes to get the job done.
That's fun. I think because people have, by people I mean players and coaches that have either spent time with them or are currently with them, have mentioned that Jordan Ott is someone that is like in the proverbial dungeon often. I think there's an anticipation that there's not a depth of personality with that. And I think this was a fun moment. There were moments in yesterday's media availability as well, but this was another direct example of that. Ton of conversations about basketball. Gets asked another basketball question, and he starts it with, my patience gets tested at home because I have kids that are very young. And again, that's just a flash of the personality. That's what's going to keep guys and break up the mundaneness of that 82-game grind.
Well, and kind of on my point yesterday about the aura of Jordan Ott, he feels more comfortable. Like, does he not seem like more comfortable with everything than what we were able to see from him in his intro press conference? Like, I mean, making jokes and everything like that, it kind of seems like second nature. But from the guy that we saw in his intro press conference to yesterday in Media Day and then what you were able to see today, it just feels like he's acting like he belongs, which he absolutely does.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's that part for sure. And I think the other part of it is as much as it's about the seriousness and the urgency and establishing those daily habits and that being what you ultimately are going to bank on once adversity hits, because that's at the baseline of your foundation, equally as important is it's okay to have fun with it too.
Sure.
Like, I mean, in the most basic sense, this is a kid's game.
Yeah.
And this is obviously playing with grown men, and there's a ton of other stakes that don't have anything to do with children, but we can't get too far removed from what made us all love the game in and of itself, and that's from the adolescent days.
Yeah. And part of the reason why people love the game is because there are the heroes and there are the villains. And, of course, Dillon Brooks, and we'll hear from him later today about how he's embracing
Gotta
his
be
villain
a
role.
hero or live
Long
long
enough
enough
to
to see yourself become a villain. Shout out Hov.
Which one are we?
I'm a podcaster. I got other titles too, but at this present moment, I'm a podcaster.
Feeling like a villain today, Ayrton. What about you?
I think I'm more of the podcaster right now than the villain.
So 2 podcasters and a villain. Dillon Brooks.
Thank you.
Had something quick, he said, about how there might be another villain on the team.
Yeah, we got a Villian Jr. on our team. I'm gonna let you guys figure out who he is.
Look at that smirk. Look at that smirk. That is a fun little villain smirk. Stephen, who do you think the Villian Jr. on the roster is?
I've been trying to think this through for the drive home or the drive here from the practice facility. I haven't firmly put my finger on who it is. I'll divvy it up with, I imagine it's Ryan in a different light that Dillon saw him in when they went against each other last season. But my hope is that it's Rasheer Fleming.
You think it's more important for Fleming to be the villain than Dunn?
No, I say no, because to have a villain at the point of attack and for as involved in direct actions Ryan Dunn will be this season defensively, he has to embrace that more, because that's more, it's not wearing it as like an aura, it's a mindset. And when you're just that stubborn and you just don't give a you-know-what about anything, and you're just going out there doing your job, you don't care whose skin you're getting under, and you're learning those tactics. That's what I mentioned I felt like Ryan Dunn would benefit most from with Dillon Brooks. So that's finding the boundaries to push things to gain an advantage outside of your athleticism.
Who's the least likely to be the villain?
That is a hilarious question. I think it's Kamon Malawatch.
There are people who are saying they want Kamon to be the villain.
I think he has the quote-unquote nasty in him, but I think he's also just he's innately fun-loving.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be met with some balance.
Ryan Dunn is a fun guy. Like Oso's a fun guy. Right? Like they're joyous.
But at least with Ryan, he plays to the physical traits more. Sure. And we saw that increasingly more over the course of the season, which is why he was in foul trouble a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like if we're doing like odds, like Bet365 odds, I feel like Ryan Dunn's the favorite.
Yeah.
Then who would be the second runner up?
Espo said Colin, and I'm not mad at it at all.
I think Colin for sure is up there.
I tell you, anybody that's under 6'3" in the NBA is an absolute dog, because you can't exist and get to those heights without it.
My holdup with Dunn is that he said that it's someone that you wouldn't expect, and I feel like Ryan Dunn is
who you would expect. He would be the favorite,
and that's why my hope pick was Rasheer.
That's what I think it's Rasheer.
Grayson Allen.
We know about Grayson.
Like Grayson's got the pedigree.
Yeah,
right? I guess people would expect it. I don't know. What if it's Mark?
Grayson's a habitual line tower, a toe liner, or however you want to say that. He pushes it to the limits for sure.
Habitual line stepper. Right?
It's not a line stepper.
Line tower.
Yeah.
Habitual line tower.
Yeah. He toes the line
from an HLT to NHD. Mario Napros 2 says Nigel Hayes Davis. Yeah, Nigel's got he's like the villain that's like super cool, calm, and collected, and you're like, how are you evil? You're so cool.
Yeah. It might end up being Nigel, honestly.
I feel like Mark Williams, I think, is somebody who might be on there, especially because Mark's quote that we'll play a little bit later about, wanting to prove the Hornets wrong for trading. I really think that Mark could end up being like an enforcer on the team. I don't know. Maybe it's just Nick Richards.
Could be. He's very silent, but he's not shy about making contact at all. For sure.
I know. Mario says I'm just naming every player on the roster at this point. What about Oso?
I think Oso has some of it in him. I think Oso is also naturally a super nice guy too. So I'm not sure.
They all seem pretty nice. Okay.
But I mean nice and...
I could just do this all day.
Yeah.
I could do this all day. What about Jordan Ott? What about Steve Nash? What about blah, 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 blah? What about the one who is the actual villain, or at least the guy that embraces it, Dillon Brooks? He spoke about embracing that villain role, the one that he is now deeming another person to be villain junior.
Like 3 years ago, after that whole thing with the Lakers, I had to look myself in the face, with Memphis not wanting me and, trying to figure out a new path in the NBA. I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, how bad do you want it? From that on, I've been, relishing in open arms to the villain persona role, whatever you want to put it. But that just comes from just me being super competitive, trying different things on the defensive end that's gonna, annoy or wear down on the offensive player. In Oregon, I didn't have to do too much of that. We played a lot of zone, so I just guarded my zone. But I feel like just the way I play, smash mouth, physical, in your face type of game is where I got the villain.
You need those guys. And those are the guys that help you establish a foundation. They help to raise the bar for competition, even at just practice, yet alone in the game. And that becomes a point of accountability because the team, when he's in the lineup, can't be their best selves on the floor if he's not wearing those qualities in respect to whoever the opponent is on any given night.
Yeah, I mean, every team needs it. It's such a common cliche now. It's like, oh, you hate to play against him, but you love playing with him. Yeah. I mean, look at all the great teams, like the great Suns teams, right, in 2021. Like Jay Crowder was an enforcer on that team. You also had Chris Paul, who played into the villain role exceptionally well, too. Like it. You always have a villain. Matthew Dellavedova on the Cavs, if you want to go with a role player, right? Like on the Warriors, it's Draymond Green. Even Kevin Durant was the villain on that team when he went over there. Like, you really do have...
Bogut was one.
Yeah. Freckle Mamba says Chet. Chet was the villain?
Man, Chet is not...
Lou Dort's their villain.
No, it's Alex and Lou for sure.
Alex
it's those
and Lou.
two. It's those two.
Go Devs.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Nembhard is the villain.
Nembhard is the villain of the Pacers.
Yep.
Like every Josh Hart's the villain of the Knicks. And like villain can sometimes be a positive and sometimes can be a negative thing. And sometimes you get looped in as like a dirty player. I think it's so funny because like Grayson Allen was in that sense before he came to the Suns, and I feel like he's been like one of the cleanest players on the Suns. Like, I don't remember a single thing of him doing. I think he had maybe one play that was like, oh, and it wasn't even intentional. It's funny how guys get that type of kind of label. I think what's also interesting is how do you go from being the villain to the teammate that people want to play with? And I thought that was a great question that was asked to Dillon at Media Day yesterday.
I think it's just my personality. I'm not always that. If I was always that, then I don't think anybody would like me. But when I first get on a team, I just be myself, and I feel like people gravitate to that. And then they go back home or be like, oh, this guy's not that bad. Like, he's not what we all think he is. So, and then they want to learn. They want to, be able to, put it in their own game, but differently, the way I do it. Like, I'm going to do it, like, in your face, like, right in the camera, fight, whatever the case may be, is tussle, whatever, talk shit after on this podium here. But, you just put your own little sauce on it. Like, with Ryan and with Oso, like, I'm going to try to really get these guys into being, like, confident in themselves on the defensive end and on the offensive end, and try to speed up their growth, speed up their confidence. Because, you know, with the young guys, you need those guys, those young legs, and they really help uplift, you know, your team when it's really needed. So for me, it's just when you meet me, you like me. When you don't meet me or you just play against me, you hate me. So, and that's the way I like it.
Those are the type of guys you need on the team to be successful in a sustained manner on the defensive end, to establish a blue-collar, hard-nosed, gritty type of identity about your team. Mm-hmm. Someone that when things are a little bit too soft or a little bit too laid back, someone that's going to up the ante on that and allow for everybody else to find someone to gravitate to pull that energy from. I don't think the Suns had more than one guy, I would say, on defense that was doing that last season, and I think Royce O'Neal brought it in waves, but it wasn't streamlined as something that's always a part of this game the way that it will be with Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, that's going to be the consistent with Dillon Brooks. He will always be good at defense. Like, that is going to be his calling card.
Not the good at defense part. It's the physicality part, setting a tone in that respect.
I think that goes hand in hand a little bit.
Because I don't want people to think that like Royce is like not a good defender. That's why
Royce is a good defender, but
yeah,
I think what puts Dillon Brooks over the edge as an always great defender is the physicality. I think that's what goes hand in hand.
Gotcha.
There are good defenders that aren't super. I wouldn't consider Ryan Dunn extremely physical. When he gets physical, he fouls.
Yeah.
You know, with Dillon Brooks, I think what kind of puts him over the edge is like what kind of you said with that immediate physicality, and I think that then plays hand in hand with the fact that he's always great on the defensive end.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
We know it's going to be consistent from him on that end, no matter what, whether it's the physicality, whether it's the instincts, right? Whether it's literally just the willpower. But one thing that hasn't been consistent with Dillon Brooks throughout his career has been his offense. And last year was the single best offensive year of his career. I mean, and it was incredible. And see, he was asked about his offensive role on this team, sustaining what he did before and how he imagines himself on this offense with Jordan Ott and company.
Catch and shoot threes, a lot of threes. And then I feel like I'll have more chances to play in, you know, pick and roll, dribble handoffs and stuff like that, and be able to create and showcase a little bit what I was doing before. You know, all this defensive villain talk before, and get back to you know what I like doing is playmaking, putting the ball in the basket, and winning basketball games.
Yeah, Dillon Brooks is a player that I think is set up for great success with the Suns this season. The fact that he had such a good season last year where he was depended upon to the extent that he was for his three-point shooting prowess and saw the return on results that he did, that was something that teams had to make decisions if they were going to help off of him, knowing that there was going to be a price to pay. And just for full context, catch and shoot points from last season, Dillon Brooks was 13th with 508. And in particular on his catch and shoot threes last season, he shot, 40.9%. So for the volume to be involved in that class of names, we're talking about the players that finished ahead of him: Isaiah Joe, Michael Porter Jr., Buddy Hield, OG Anunoby, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Mikal Bridges, Miles Turner, Peyton Pritchard, Lou Dort, Derek White, and Malik Beasley. Those are all elite level three-point shooters last season, and he was in the very same breath as all of those guys, even with his role was not the same as any of those guys on offense.
And I find it interesting, and I've always found this interesting about Dillon Brooks and fascinating on how this plays over the Suns, that his career offensive year came on a team that, like, quite frankly, was not good at building a coherent offense. You say he's top 13 in catch and shoot. The Houston Rockets were the worst team at moving the ball last year.
They were the slowest team playing, yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, now if he's on a team that moves the ball more, does he get more opportunities?
Correct.
Right? Dillon Brooks, right, was one of the best, if not the best, three-point shooter on the Rockets last year. That says a little bit more about the Rockets than it does about Dillon Brooks. But you think about it, it's not like he's going to be wide open because you have like a Steph Curry who's roaming around there, right? You've got a couple shooters. You have Jalen who's going to take his threes. You have Fred VanVleet who's going to take his threes. You have Jabari Smith Jr. who's going to take his threes. Other than that, it's like any consistent three-point shooters you have? Not really. On this team, there are better offensive options and guys who will take those threes. They're not the best shooting team of all time, but do those catch and shoots become more open, more frequent, right? Because we said a lot of catch and shoot threes, and how much space will he have to operate with? I think a fascinating thing to watch as well is that playmaking aspect, because there's not going to be this traditional point guard in there. And I know that Green and Book will be making a lot of playmaking, but I think the secondary playmaking around them in the starting lineup, I think Ryan Dunn has shown flashes. Mark Williams has shown a lot of flashes in the few games that he's played. And if Dillon Brooks can also be a decent facilitator, hopefully you're looking at a really, really well-rounded lineup and moving the ball.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it. We don't have the clips for today's show, but I spoke with Jordan about just the way that he's looking to leverage the attention that Jalen and Devin get to advantage for the players that can shoot on his team. And he basically was saying that it's about keeping everybody involved with the ways in which they're going to go about it. We'll dive into more of that later. There'll be a film session to come on that in particular too. But back to the Brooks point, 39 threes made via Jalen Green passes last season. Now, they didn't have that many players that could create a three-point shot opportunity for someone else to the extent that the Suns will be able to with last season's Rockets team. If it was Jalen that shouldered the brunt of the assist to Dillon Brooks to get the catch and shoot threes that he enjoys, what about when he has two guys that can do that? What about when he, in tandem with those two guys, he also has an offensive process that he's a piece of that's going to put players in position to take more of those healthy type of catch and shoot opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the offensive philosophy or just kind of his coaching in general, I thought it was awesome that one of the first questions that Jordan Ott was asked about was just like, what does a guy like Dillon Brooks bring to this team? And this is what he had to say.
I think we've all seen Dillon as an opponent. Actually was in LA, a couple years ago in the playoffs against him, and the edge and competitive spirit that he plays with is unmatched. And just knowing him from afar, we knew that competitive spirit would lift our group. Things we didn't know is his work ethic backs it up. He's not all smoke. I told it right to his face a couple weeks ago. He's an incredible worker, one of the hardest workers I've seen. Talk about two-a-days. He was in there again last night. He lifts our group on the floor when he's there, in the building when he's there. Every night to go to war with someone like that is going to help not only Book, but also our young guys, and show them the way that this is the way that we have to be. Again, and a competitive advantage of ours is outwork, outplay, how hard we can play. He's going to be the leader of that every night, and it's good to have him on our team.
So that's what he's going to mean to this team. Obviously, like you mentioned, he's coming over here with Jalen Green, and Jalen Green was asked what he meant to the success in Houston.
I mean, for anybody that plays basketball, at a high level, there's always that one person on the other team that's, a pest or, just going to aggravate players and, pick them up full court, whether it's the best player or not. And I think DB does that for whatever team he's on. He's done it in Memphis, he's done it in Houston, and I don't see him changing or doing anything differently now. So he's going to come in, he's going to talk, he's going to play hard. And he gonna bring that dog mentality, and I think that was the change for us last year or the last 2 years. Him coming in and just picking up full court and just being a dog, and that's what we needed. So I don't see nothing changing now, and I think he's gonna bring that dog mentality here, and that's gonna help us a lot defensively.
You also saw, I forget if it was Matt Ishbia or Brian Gregory talking on TV yesterday about how Dillon Brooks was one of the non-negotiables, had to be a part of the package for Kevin Durant. It was Ishbia. When you hear that about a guy so often, the quote of when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Believe who Dillon Brooks is. There's no reason to feel like Dillon Brooks for some reason is going to be different this year, at least in my opinion, as far as at least all the intangibles that he's going to bring.
Yeah, this is not when Matt said that, he wasn't blowing smoke. I think he looked at what last season's roster was lacking and what they desire to have multiple iterations of going forward with each roster construct that they put together for each year to come. And that's having guys that are hard-nosed and tough and are going to be willing to wear those qualities regardless of matchup or opponent, regardless if he's made 4 threes or he's 0 for 8. One thing you're not going to have to question is the urgency and the attention to detail that someone like that is going to bring to the fold. Will it be sometimes where you're wishing that he didn't do it? Yes, but there's also times where you wish certain players didn't take certain shots, even superstar players.
That was
So you
Ayrton last night when I took a half-court shot when we were down 30 and immediately got subbed out of the game.
So you can't. And my point in bringing that up, which maybe you got some Steph Curry in you, we don't know, but you can't
not
get
recently.
to.
Not recently.
My thing that you can't
I've
get
been
to.
really bad.
You can't get to reaping the benefits of something like that. That's an ultimate. It ultimately is like an advantage or a value-adding piece for you, without kind of taking some of the lumps that might come with that.
Sure. Yeah, I was doing all the little things. I know this is what's really important.
You're a blue collar guy.
You know what? I am the villain of our team. I'm the blue collar guy of our team. I was playing good defense, making great cuts. Nobody was passing me the ball.
See, if I was there, one thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut.
Oh,
And it's not gonna be a whole lot of owling looking around, standing and watching the ball.
well,
Y'all not making the defense move. Y'all not making.
we got a
Everybody
lot of
just
work to do. Playoffs start next week.
everybody just loading up. Everybody just loading up on Ayrton. I'm assuming. huh?
No,
They ran a 2-3 zone in a men's league.
they did.
That's the easiest on the break.
Still, zone and
Who's
men's
in the
league is
middle?
gross.
Oh, y'all was all standing outside the 3-point line.
No, not me. I was the only one who was cutting. Bro, I was the one who was cutting. I was
Were
the one
you
trying to break
just
the
cutting
zone.
or were you moving the gaps?
Both.
Okay. Or they getting you the
And
ball
Ayrton,
there?
I wasn't just cutting. I was making good cuts.
But
Was I
were they
not?
getting you the ball in the gaps?
No.
Well, that's the problem. If
The
you're
weak,
not gonna
the
punch
weak
in the
links
2-3,
on
you're
our
not gonna
team
do
were very weak against the zone.
I would say we all were really bad. And that is all that we're going to talk about it. And we're going to dive into
I'll say
Ryan Dunn.
real quick, just for y'all going forward, you can still run pick and roll against the zone.
Oh, I tried. I think I was the only person who set a screen last night too. I tried, man.
Yeah,
I tried.
I'm
I
glad.
tried.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
I was
'cause we
making
would've
cross court reads. I was
had some
cutting.
problems.
I was also just bricking shots
That's
too.
wild.
I've been on an atrocious tear lately. But enough about that. What about Ryan Dunn? We'll talk about it after our first break. After getting whooped by 30 in men's league, you might need some pure edibles. Don't worry, playoffs start next week. We'll be back and better than ever. But Pure Edibles better than ever with their gummies, Kicks, which is their version of Starburst, chews, and of course hard candies as well. And if you want to start sipping your edibles, you can do it with their collaboration with Mother Road for the new Tower Station IPA all-in-one. It's happy hour all the time. I will say this, and this is legitimate. The Tower Station IPA is my single favorite IPA, and it has been for a very long time. Like, that to me is the numero uno of IPAs, and of course it's a local brew, and of course Pure Edibles is a local company. They use CBN, CBG, CBD along with THC to deliver you the best cultivated experience. So go find yourself some Pure Edibles from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And you know me, I'm always wearing team gear. Maybe not today, but like all the time. And I get it from Rally House. My favorite Rally House location is the brick and mortar store in Tempe. And that was actually the first time I ever heard of Rally House. I was in Tempe Marketplace and I just saw it. And I said, I got to go in there. This was a couple years ago. I walked in and it was incredible. In fact, it was so incredible, I literally got a card for their general manager and gave them the PHNX card because I'm like, this store rocks. It had all local Arizona sports gear, none of that other stuff, none of the dumb Cubs merch that you see.
Hey, chill out,
around
man.
here
It helped y'all
or
out
anything
yesterday.
like that. Well, we didn't help ourselves out,
Exactly.
okay? And we are not helping ourselves out today. Listen, find your local Rally House location. Go online at rallyhouse.com. They have hundreds of pages, hundreds of options. It is awesome. Shop their entire product assortment online at www.rallyhouse.com. Corey said, wait, y'all hooped last night? Where at? Yeah, we got weekly men's league games. But if you know of any runs, I don't know if you're local, Corey. It is actually incredible in a bad sense how hard it is to find good, consistent indoor runs in Arizona.
That was the first thing I said when I moved out here.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And like, I'm ashamed of my state.
That was one of the first things that Eric said.
Like,
to
I'm
me,
not
too.
even kidding. Like, I got to tell these guys that are from Illinois, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I got to apologize for my state. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Matter of fact, that was like the first conversation me and Ayrton had too.
Bro, it's bad. Like, there's got to be a solution out there. We got to do something about this.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm on it.
Not used to that at all.
Bro, like literally when you guys tell me about how many indoor basketball courts that you have access to in Illinois, like I got sad. I got legitimately sad
I thought that was common everywhere, and
I wish.
I was proven
wrong.
wrong.
Most places it is. Most places it is. Just not here, which is crazy. Crazy as I like hiccup as I'm speaking.
That was wild.
That's never happened.
I was like,
before.
You good?
What the hell was that? Which is crazy because it's 120 degrees outside, like 75% of the year. And we don't have indoor places to hoop. Anyway, Ryan Dunn. I could talk about this forever. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, 5-star reviews on audio. Also, you can become a member today if you do feel so inclined, like Deborah in the chat, and spam some, very fun emojis. The join button is right next to the subscribe button, or there's a link in our description for those of you on mobile. Ryan Dunn talked about how he got some off-season work in with Kevin Durant and what he's been working on offensively with his game.
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing I took from not even just those two, from everyone I talked to, confidence, trusting yourself, putting in the reps, really being a student of the game, being detail-oriented when it comes to your footwork and everything like that. So that this offseason, working out with KD, obviously that's a brother to me. And, him being able to have me come down and work out with him, just watching him work out and growing with him is great. And, obviously over time, hopefully that comes into my game, but just keep building and growing, not worrying about too much. And, that's what the offseason's for, just trying new stuff and learning. But, now it's time to get back into what, I've came here to do, and that's just playing defense and growing as that as well.
Yep. You establish your foundation, you lean into that, and then you allow for that to kind of be what steers you to what's next, what you add in additional layers. Maybe it's just doubling down on being more nuanced with your defense. Maybe you add the three-point shot. Mm-hmm. Maybe you add the intangible side that I spoke to with Dillon Brooks.
I think for him offensively, the three-point shot's obviously going to be where the conversation starts, but finishing off of a pick and roll. And for me, I think also like getting some putbacks in there has been something that he's really been able to make a mark. Ooh, Deborah, with the depending on where you're at, there's a nice indoor at 51st Avenue in Campbell. No, where is 51st Avenue in Campbell? I mean, I know where 51st Avenue is. I'm gonna have to look into that. I will drive an hour. Like that's what the state of this is here. I will drive an hour for a good indoor run. Mario Not Pro Stu says have an indoor run and add it as a diehard tier, and I'll sign up today. We can make that happen. We can make that happen for sure. This is what Ryan Dunn had to say about conversations that he's had with Jordan Knott.
Yeah, the biggest thing is we're trying to play fast. And, like you said, quick decisions on the catch, knowing where to be, attacking closeouts. And that's kind of the biggest thing. And, improving driving angles and getting downhill and, playing off two pump fakes and moving off my pivot foot and making reads like that is something that I've been trying to work on this offseason. So, they've been trying to help me do that and, just growing and just being more confident to getting downhill and trying to score and finish from there.
I think playing fast is going to benefit a lot of people on this team, but I think it'll benefit Ryan Dunn the most.
It will. And I think you can play fast even in the half court. And I think that's kind of what separated teams like Oklahoma City and Indiana. The two teams that were the most adaptable, that found call them lags, where a game typically has like a snag and you can like take the time to look down on your phone or say something to somebody and take your attention away. With those two teams playing, you can't do that because they find ways to shrink those lags, and they just always find ways to just keep an uptick. Ryan Dunn's a player that can play to a lot of the qualities that their secondary players do on those respective teams. And I asked him about that, him talking about playing off of 2 feet and improving driving angles, very important. Grayson Allen's a player that I feel like he can learn directly from with that. It's probably something I'm going to end up asking him about.
Yeah, you asking a good question? Shocking. Shocking.
Appreciate it.
The offense, the defense, it's all important. But I think also something that we saw from Ryan Dunn is the leadership role, or at least just the personality side of it, right? Like whether he was out there at Summer League and speaking like a veteran, or he's involved in all of the Suns promotional materials, or he's going to the Suns and Mercury night at the Diamondbacks game. Like this is a guy he's not the face of the franchise. Like we all know who the face of the franchise is. Mm-hmm. But as far as like true diehard Suns fans, I think the guy that's number 2 on that list right now is Ryan Dunn. Am I off base on that? No, like, Ayrton, you're shaking your head. No, like I feel like Ryan Dunn, obviously he's not the second best player on the team, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like as far as like our guys go at this moment before we get into the season, like Ryan Dunn is number 2. And so he talked about, that leadership role and kind of stepping into that yesterday.
Yeah, so for the first question, I've been hearing that. Not even from Devin, but from like Nick and Mark. They're always telling me you're still not a vet. You're always a rookie until your first game. So hopefully we don't get any more rookie duties until that point. But no, I'm just excited for year 2, and like you said, just learning what I learned from year 1 and applying it for year 2 and helping these guys come in, like Man and Kobe and Rashir and CJ, giving them tips to, how to navigate the life of being an NBA player on and off the floor. It's great. And that starts tomorrow in training camp, coming in with the right mindset, helping them be the player they want to be in this league and just grow at that aspect as well.
Yeah, that youthful exuberance and having more than just 1 or 2 or 3 guys on the roster that can play to that whenever they do get minutes or even at practice. Again, it just ups the level of competition for everybody. It breaks up that mundaneness of 82 games. That's a long time across 4.5 months, 5 months to be playing games and traveling. It gets monotonous at times. It's obviously a luxury, and you're speaking from a bit of privilege with that, but these can kind of get stale, and you need guys that can break that with a joke or break that with their extra efforts at practice. Somebody dives for a loose ball in a scrimmage or a 3-on-3 or something, and now everybody else is, because that's the behavior they desire to see more of. Now everybody else is engaged and locked in, and that's the type of things that championship teams are made of. I'm not comparing this team to a championship team, but those qualities are the ones that sustain for good teams.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 82 seasons is a really 82 games.
Yeah.
82 seasons is a long
crazy.
time.
Somebody's knees are gone.
My knees
crazy.
are done.
Sheesh.
82 games is a long time.
Yeah.
And obviously there's no comparing what we do to what they do, but like we are on their schedule without the travel, right? Mm-hmm. But we are on their schedule where it's, okay, if there's 4 games in 7 nights, we're doing 4 games in 7 nights, right? We're doing prep for who they're playing, who they're not. And obviously it's not the same thing, but like our life is built around the same schedule as them. Yeah. And even though we're not traveling and we're not the ones playing in the game, we're just sitting here talking about it afterwards. Like it is exhausting. Mm-hmm. It is exhausting. Mm-hmm. Right. And to have somebody like that, and to also have somebody who, as much as we lament what happened last season, and I think rightfully so, with Mike Budenholzer, Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, the weird rotations, the pulling in and out, it was just terrible, right? It was an awful situation. You can learn from awful situations. In fact, the best players have learned from awful situations. Again, like you're not saying they're a championship team. I make this comparison not as players, but as situations. Devin Booker came into the league in an awful situation, right? Mm-hmm. He had to learn a lot from being in an awful situation. Mm-hmm. There are guys who had to earn their way in from the G League, to earn their way in from being on the bench. Like Paul George was a bench player, right? Paul George had to earn his time on the court, right? Lou Dort on OKC was undrafted and had to earn his way over in OKC. Like, these are things that, despite it not being set up perfectly for you or you being put in a bad situation that's out of your control, sometimes that can make you mature beyond your years. And with Ryan Dunn, I feel like he was already mature beyond his years, but you put yourself in a situation where, hey, I got through that. Now I got a coach that believes in me. I got a system that I'm going to be a part of, and I know that I'm going to be a starter or at least a prominent member of this team as long as I hold up my end of the bargain, which was not the case last year. Mm-hmm. When there are other things that you have to overcome this season, that is going to kind of be like this foundation that Ryan Dunn can draw upon, and he can also talk to other people if they are going through a rough time, especially these rookies. Let's say Kaman is not getting consistent minutes. Now Ryan Dunn can sit next to Kaman and be like, hey, this is how I dealt with it. This is how I stayed ready. Mm-hmm. Like, this isn't a conjecture thing. Like, I lived this and I can help you through this.
Yeah. And he can also throw the bit in that you probably won't have to go through the adversity that I did as far as being in and out of the rotation.
How terrible your
not
head coach
knowing
is.
what your
Literally.
Yeah. So that them not having to deal with that part, I think, is something that Ryan and even also to a certain extent as well can extend in relation to the other younger players on the roster, but also so that they don't have to go through the same things that they did last season, the mental side of it, the preparation side of it, figuring out how to carve out your niche the right way, how to get a coach's attention the right way. I think they can kind of help and steer them in different ways. That's a form of leadership.
Any final thoughts or takeaways from what you heard from Ryan Dunn either today or yesterday at Media Day?
I like that he spoke to working out specific to addressing weaknesses or addressing dynamics of a game that he's consistently involved with. Attacking closeouts is not a weakness of his, but that's something that he mentioned that he's been sharpening his sword with. That stuff matters for me because you can go in the gym, you can shoot 1,000 middies. Is that a shot you're ever going to take in the game relative to your role? For most players, no. So it's not wasted time, but it's not what's going to add you and give you more value to add to your team.
Yeah. I'd be taking some stupid shots when I shoot around. And I tried to pull one out in the game yesterday. It did not work. I hit him when the lights were off.
You're building up a bad rep with your teammates, huh?
No, that was the first. I think that's the first. That's the first.
A half-court shot.
So I've made.
What you do? A Dirk one-legged, KD one-legged? What you do?
No, I 2 feet set. We were down like 30. It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've probably, as far as like really ill-advised shots, I think I've maybe taken like 2 really ill-advised shots. It was that one, then I took another transition 3 where I was open, I just didn't set my feet well enough. I didn't hit it.
Ayrton, do you agree with 2?
Yeah.
I don't take like I'm not that guy.
No. And then yesterday they were like, that's a good shot yesterday.
Dude, like yesterday and we're gonna test. We might have had as a team more air balls than made shots.
Oh man.
Like it was actually like we have some good basketball players on our team.
Mm-hmm.
Some. And usually it's like, okay, like we're hitting a decent percent. Yesterday was just like it was an anomaly how bad. And the worst part was somebody brought their girl to the game. And it was the game that
somebody on y'all team or the other team?
On our team.
Yeah.
The other team had groupies. I don't know what was going on. The other team had groupies. One guy was literally carrying one of the other guy's shoes.
That's crazy.
And like gave it to him before the game. Which I thought was nuts.
That's insane.
I was like, this men's league team has groupies, which was crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Ashley says, who else is on the team? From PHNX, it's me, it's Ayrton, it's Shane Diefenbach, and it's Noah, who was the old producer of this show. At least the old one, as in like wasn't even here a year ago, but was here before Ayrton. So it's the 4 of us from PHNX, and then a couple of Ayrton's friends, one of Shane's friends, one of my friends, and then a couple of randoms. We invited Stephen, but he said you guys don't play high enough caliber basketball for us.
Yeah, because that's what it was.
Which has proven to be true.
It is. We need Stephen. I will say this. If there's one thing that our team needs, it is an actual like point guard. Because Anyway. Is Ayrton a stretch 5? Honestly, like, yeah, a little bit. I mean,
who's your player count, Ayrton? And don't say Kobe or MJ.
Well,
nationally.
Ooh, I got one.
Who you got?
Brandon Ingram.
Okay,
I'll take that. When I would play at the rec at ASU, people would call me White KD.
Okay,
and that was kind of fun.
I had wings in mind for sure. So
Brandon,
that makes sense.
I'd say Ayrton, respectfully, after last night, I cannot call you White KD.
Oh my god!
But Brandon Ingram, Ayrton's very like lanky.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ayrton's a tall guy, and you're standing next to Ayrton's a tall guy, and then you stand next to him on the basketball court, and you're like, okay,
he's taller.
Yeah, loves the midi. Will definitely.
I was gonna say he must pull a lot of middies if you getting BI comps.
Yeah, post midi fadeaway.
Okay.
Attack the rim.
Okay.
If it's last night, brick some threes. No, we got some good players on the team. We just got some things we need to figure out.
You know, if I was in the league and I saw y'all struggle against a 2-3, you know what I'm doing the next game?
Going to 2-3.
Good thing the jump ball.
Good thing this tip-off was at 9:40 p.m. And so nobody was there except for the groupies of the other men's league team.
Okay. Anybody pull their phone out during the game?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Good.
I did. I was just making jokes, though. I'm a great guy to have around when things are going bad. Like, we were down. We had, like, 11 points at halftime, and I was dapping everybody up. I was like, we got them right where we want them, boys. like we're good. Sean said, wait, I missed it. You guys couldn't beat a 2-3. Ayrton and I could beat a 2-3. The guys passing Ayrton and I the ball could not beat a 2-3. Accelerator wants to know about the Arizona Cardinals. It's the entire state, bud. Okay. Yeah, I'm embarrassed for us too, Ashley. I'm embarrassed for us too. But I'm not embarrassed about what Mark Williams had to say at Media Day.
Yeah.
Maybe the most pointed that we heard anybody yesterday. So we will dive into that, but we'll do it right after our final break. Maybe we don't know how to beat a 2-3, but I do know one thing for sure, and that is that everybody needs a checking account. So why not get a checking account that works with you with Mountain America Credit Union's My Style checking account, and you can use your My Style checking account with the official exclusive Suns card from the official credit union of the Phoenix Suns, Mountain America Credit Union. With your My Style checking account, you can get things like restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, offers on travel and events, and so much more. Or you can get it as a credit card as well, a no annual fee credit card that's available as a low rate cashback or rewards card option. They are here to guide you forward on your financial journey, so go get your Suns card today. Apply at any Arizona branch. Visit macu.com/Suns to learn more. Insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans are on approved credit. Also, big shout out to Circle K. Today is an Inner Circle Fuel Day. If you want to get 40 cents off per gallon, go fill up. Even if you just need a quarter of a tank, it's worth it because you're getting 40 cents off per gallon.
How much?
40 cents. 40 cents off per gallon of gas. That's a lot of money, especially for those of you with so many of you in Arizona have literally the biggest trucks in the world for no reason. I'd say I'm not judging
because the headlights always in my side
I'd
mirrors.
say I'm not judging, but I'm kind of judging. Unless there's dirt on your truck, we need to have a conversation, okay? Drive a sedan like me if you're going to your financing job and like a 15-wheeler. Okay, but if you do drive it, you probably spend a lot of money on gas. So go to Circle K and get 40 cents off. All you have to do is be a part of the Inner Circle. And if you're not a part of the Inner Circle because you're too busy buying more wheels for your truck, well, it's really easy. You download the Circle K app today and you join the Inner Circle by putting in your phone number and your email, and that's it. Not only are you saving money on gas, but on food, on drinks, and so much more. So join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for full details. We got a couple dislikes on the stream after that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend everybody who drives trucks. The headlights thing
kills me.
Really kills me.
Yeah.
And then I will say this, if you drive a truck and you never do anything with it, trucky with it,
off-road type. Yeah.
I do feel like it's a waste of a truck. I'm not saying anything negative about you as a person. I'm just saying if you that's a funny comment. Eric's views on trucks don't represent us all. If you have a family sedan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like an SUV, right? Like a three rows of seats in the back, but you live by yourself and you don't transport a lot of things, is that not a waste of a car? Is it not a waste? Am I just digging myself a deeper hole here?
I will say I'm less about that with trucks, and I'm more about that with the Jeeps and the off-road type vehicles like that. If you're not taking that type of vehicle off-road, what we doing right now?
Yeah, it's fair.
But I let people have what they have and do what they do. Cause I got a 2-door and I'm not one that races.
Yeah,
I just like
fair.
I like the.
But
so I respect.
You're
it,
still
but
driving.
also,
I feel like you're still driving though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Get whatever you want. The world is a hard place. If driving a truck brings you joy, then good for you. I just personally, and maybe this is just my lack of brain cells, I just personally don't understand getting a car that you don't use all the functions of the car for. Personally, I do think the trucks that rip though, my favorite trucks are the old school trucks that are smaller, not the huge massive ones that take up 2 lanes on the freeway, but the ones that are just normal size, those rip.
Have you seen one of the Japanese semi trucks?
Been to Japan.
Those
I've
are
seen
sick.
those in person. They're great.
shout out to the Raptors.
Okay, guys. That's
the hardest truck. That's the hardest truck out there for me. Raptors, crazy.
No free ads.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say it.
Mario Not Bros 2 says trading in my truck now. I am changing the world one step at a time. Okay, one step at a time. Mark Williams is taking his injury recovery one step at a time. We heard from Brian Gregory yesterday that his work ethic has been off the charts and that he's really been focusing. I asked Mark about what he worked on this offseason and what was different when it came to preparing for a season and trying to be fully healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been here pretty much the whole time. I've just, really bought in trying to put my body in the best, position to endure a NBA season. As far as strength goes, my core, lower body, just overall strength and conditioning. Just doing what I can every day when I'm in the gym, on the court, in the weight room, just trying to be the best version of myself.
Is there anything different from what you did in previous off-seasons?
I wouldn't say necessarily different. I think I was just, more focused. Obviously, when you have a new change of scenery, that helps. Just a little bit more self-motivation. Just trying to, prove everybody wrong the best way I can.
Again, if this dude stays healthy this season, he's in for a career season across multiple fronts of his game. I think Jordan Knott probably finds maybe things that he did the slightest bit of with Charlotte and leans more into them and challenges him within that to get more out of his game, because Mark Williams, though he has a traditional center's stature, is not a traditional center in terms of the ways in which he could be used both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, Mario Nutbros 2 says over under Mark Williams game, 50 games played for Mark Williams. I hope it's an over. I really do.
What's the number we decided on? If he hits X number, it's a successful season for him on the health side. Was it like 65?
I feel like 60.
60?
I mean, the most he's played in a season is 40?
Yeah.
Yeah, 60. I mean, that's
Okay.
it's a 50% increase.
Yeah.
Right, in games played. I feel for him, right? Because he has had to go through so much, and he spoke about the frustrations and stuff with his availability and being on and off the court so much.
Yeah, it's tough. It's obviously something you can't really do anything about. It's not like I'd say I did anything particularly wrong. It was just some unfortunate outcomes when I was in Charlotte, especially last year. I hurt my foot right before training camp. There's nothing I can really do about that. But yeah, I'd say it's frustrating. I think that's really what made me, focus this summer on just doing everything I can, strength-wise, body-wise, just putting on some more strength, but not particularly being heavier. I still want to be able to move, be fluid, still have that fast switch, be strong, but still, being able to be out there, being able to endure a season.
That's important. The best availability or the best ability is availability. And I've been on the other side of just being hurt and feeling like even if you don't think you're letting your team down in a sense, knowing that you can impact things in a way that will help everybody else be a better version of themselves, that weighs on you, especially when it's like happenstance injuries. It's not for a lack of body maintenance, and it's not for a lack of like eating habits and like things like that. It's just the lack of luck of the draw, if you will. And that weighs on someone. So to see him in such a good mental space and speaking in response to that, but also not like shying away from it, like acknowledging that it happened, like the injury right before the season started last year. He was like, yeah, that happened. That's out of my control. I just got to control how I respond to it and continue to show up.
I mean, he's got a couple of chips on his shoulder, right? He's got the injury chip. He also has the trade chip, because he was a trade trip, not just traded once, but traded twice from the same team. He talked about his reaction to all of that, and then also the awkward months that were the in-between the two trades.
Yeah, I was excited. Obviously the change of scenery was good, especially with how last year played out. And I think I just want to prove, my availability. I think my performance speaks for itself, but I just got to be on the floor more. I think, a lot of guys on this team have things to prove. The whole team's pretty much new. So I think we'll just try to go out there and play with that hunger, passion, and drive, and try to be the best versions of ourselves every night.
yeah, just to be where you're wanted is always great. So, to be here is exciting. But yeah, I mean, Charlotte was ultimately where I was drafted to, so there was a belief in me at some point. But yeah, once you trade me the first time, it was only a matter of time before I was gone. So I kind of knew that was coming. So I just intend to, make them regret that decision every time I'm on the court. And with that, just, being out here, being with, my teammates now, and I'm just, excited to, improve myself every single night.
I'm not going to lie. Mark Williams has me fired up because, listen, the health stuff, and we have to bring it up. Like, you have to have that conversation with him, and that is unfortunate. But if you just put that aside, this is an extraordinarily talented young big man who has shown some incredible flashes and now has something to prove in a much better situation than what he was at in Charlotte. I like the direction the Hornets are going in. I like some of their young players. I like Charles Lee as a coach, even though he was an asshole to me. And I think that's a fine situation, but clearly I believe Phoenix to be a better one. And if you can get that fire and that change of scenery and you can get healthy all at the same time, man, it would be like this. When it rains, it pours, but with good news for Mark Williams. And if he is like that, man, then he could be genuinely the biggest difference maker on this team, not named Devin Booker this year.
Mark is 24, 23.
He's 24. He's either 23 or he's about to turn 24. I'll look it up.
So a player with this type of upside, you're betting on him, one, hitting the upside while he's under your contract control.
He'll turn 24 in December.
Okay. He was kind of somewhere around both of those two, similar to Jalen Green. But to the point, though, you're betting on two players between him and Jalen Green that are upside is unignorable in terms of their potential, but it's just about fine-tuning things and then streamlining some of the things that they've shown to be strengths. I feel like they're in the perfect position to be just that. For the Jalen Green side, it's about being challenged within his kind of rhythm and his habits of flow. And for Mark, it's just about sustaining health.
Yeah, he's got a lot to prove. It's a contract year for him as well, for a team that drafted a center in the top 10, right?
Yeah.
He's got a lot to prove. And I do think that at his best, and he showed it in Phoenix when he played last year, at his best, he could be one of the most impactful big men in the game. He's not going to be Jokic. He's not going to be Embiid when healthy. Right, he's not going to be Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert.
He won't be like Jared Allen, like defensive player of the year caliber, like that type of guy. But he can be he can be that guy that the Suns said that they think he already is, which is like a top 15 center in the league.
He can be the best center that this franchise has had, since I guess the one run from Ayton in 2021. But beyond that, ever. And I mean, seriously, Alvin Adams is great. That was a long time ago. He's 6'9", right? He's great, but it's okay. Truck Robinson was more of a forward. Okay. Give me all the great centers. Amari, if you're going to call him a center, obviously he's number one. But Mark Williams, potential. I'm not saying he's going to do this. Healthy Mark Williams at his full realized potential in his prime 3 to 4 years from now can be the best center that this franchise has ever seen. Am I crazy?
I don't think it's out the realm.
It's a long shot, but I think it's on the table for him. He has a lot to prove. Mario says Mark is the oldest 23-year-old I've ever seen. Sean, we'll get to your would you rather in a second here because it's not Suns related. Stephen, you asked Mark Williams about how versatile he can be on defense, especially with this team, and this is what he had to say.
As far as for me, I think just being versatile on defense, being able to guard 1 through 5, being able to just, play a drop, being able to show. I think it kind of is a game-by-game basis, maybe guarding a non-shooter. So I think just being versatile, being able to do a little bit of everything makes it, a lot more tougher for other teams when they play us.
And this was in response to just asking about conversations that I had with him about what he's seen in his defensive potential and what he hopes to get out of him in a specific role with this team. Those things all sound really, really good, very, very promising. Now, I'm very eager to see the work get put in and see how it kind of works over time. It's not going to be first preseason game, Mark Williams is immediately a defensive player of the year candidate. Like, it's not going to be that. But I think it's going to be, is his drop coverage a little bit shorter than deeper than it as it was with Charlotte? Is he more active in his drop? Like, little things like that I'm going to be looking for, and just his general activity on that end of the floor.
By the way, if you're watching on TV, the party always continues over at GoPHNX.com. It's time for overtime. I was waiting for this comment from Mario Napros, who says, and Erik is the youngest 26-year-old I've ever seen.
Somebody was going to do it.
Like, I get it, and like, I get it. It's the joke, and I'm not like, it doesn't bother me or anything. Is that true? Like, do I give off like 20 or like what? Like, Ayrton, how old would you think I am? Like, before you knew?
I think if I was on camera, I would get a lot of the younger.
Well, you're a baby.
But that's what I mean. Like, I feel like it's just because you. No, I mean, yeah, you look like a 26-year-old. I think you're fine.
Thank you. Ashley says a solid 14. Sean says Erik changed the 1 to a 2 when he listed his age. How old did you think I was? Because we've known each other for a while.
Yeah.
Obviously, most of it over online beforehand. How old did you think I was?
Like last year?
Yeah. Like when you got here and you looked at me, you said, that is a 5-year-old man. That is a talking baby.
You guys be around the same age as me. So within 5 years of me, yeah.
Yeah. Sean says, if I'm being honest, 23 or 24. Jackie Tatona said, wait, you're 26. I'm throwing 23 out there. You give early 20-year-old energy. I guess I'm just a fun guy. You know, if I was doing this at like 22, I mean, watch out. Anyways. Anything on Mark Williams besides what we talked about today? Him having something to prove, chip on his shoulder, what's on the table for Mark money-wise and career-wise going into this season?
I think the entire front court is going to be challenged from Jordan not to operate in ways. If they already did a little bit of the untraditional big man connecting type of activity on offense and being a spacer and understanding how to space, what to do if you get the ball in certain pockets. If you're not a shooter, what's the quick decision you're making? If you are a shooter, can you also put the ball on the deck to keep an advantage? I think they're all going to be challenged in that from Jordan Knott. And I think because of that, again, in health withstanding, are probably going to see the best version of Mark Williams yet.
Yeah, I think when healthy, we're going to see the best version of him. It's how often do you see that best version, and what exactly is the ceiling of that best version that you're going to see? A couple things really quick here. We'll get to your Would You Rather, Sean, in a second, because it's not Suns related, but I will throw you a bone and we'll answer it. I do want to give a shout out to Mario, who asked us a question on Twitter. So Devin Booker was on with Burns and Gambo earlier in the day yesterday, and he had some pretty telling quotes. They did a good job over there talking to him and getting some good conversation out of him. He told Burns and Gambo that there was a, quote, disconnect in the team last year, and said, and I quote, I don't think there was any hatred in our group amongst the guys, and I just think when you are all on a different plan and don't have the same common goal or same objective, then that's what it turns into. He added that, quote, the last 2 years were the toughest of my career. What is your takeaway from hearing guys weren't all on the same page, they didn't have a common goal, and the last 2 years were the toughest of his career?
Talent on paper does not immediately or always fully equate to winning to the levels that talent suggests. The Brooklyn Nets, unfortunately the Phoenix Suns, the Philadelphia 76ers, recent teams that have gone through that bout across multiple seasons, and it just hasn't hit to the extent that you would expect. If you close your eyes and someone tells you player XYZ and ABC and D, E, and F are all on the same team, coached by Coach Z, you're thinking, okay, there's no way that team is anything less than a second round team.
I don't know. Coach Z kind of sucks.
Well, depending on which coach you're talking about, but yeah.
Coach Z.
But that just, it speaks to it. It's about
100%
the cohesiveness of a group, because individual talent is awesome, but basketball is a 5-player game. 5 players on one team that's on the floor at the same time. What's the frequency they're vibing at in respect to their opponents?
My biggest takeaway from this, and probably my biggest frustration, I don't think there was any hatred in our last group amongst the guys. I just think that when you're all on a different plan and don't have the same common goal or same objective, that's what it turns into. Excuse me? What? What do you mean there was a different goal and objective? Who walked into the doors of the Phoenix Suns organization last year with anything on their mind other than winning a goddamn championship? Where can that disconnect be? You have the highest payroll in the National Basketball Association, the highest payroll of all time.
Mm-hmm.
You have Kevin freaking Durant. You have Bradley Beal, for all of his flaws, at one point led the league in scoring and is on a max contract. You have Devin Booker, who's led this team closer to a championship than anybody else before, even though they won the same amount of games as Chuck, they were up in the series, right? You had a roster full of veterans. You had a quote-unquote championship-level head coach. How? And it's like, yeah, okay, it's right. Jackie's saying, I'm guessing the other, quote, stars weren't about it. How do you walk into that situation and not be like, we need to win a championship? The goal is to win a championship. How do you not have the desire to win a championship? Because that's what he's saying here. What he's saying is, I wanted to win a championship, and everybody else was not on the same page. How? Like, I genuinely do not understand how.
Yeah, that's tough.
I love it. I'm losing my mind. You're just
That's
like,
tough.
That's tough.
I don't know if I say this with great respect, but I don't know if the foundation that was established with, in particular, last season's team was thorough enough to where it was something that would lead to those desires of Devin Booker's. Because if Book is talking about or hinting at wanting to have been contending, I mean, forget what Devin Booker's talking about. If the team salary cap is the highest of all time, you don't even have a say-so in what it is you're playing towards.
Sure.
You're not investing all the money in a roster to not be coming home with that Larry O'Brien trophy.
Sure.
And parading down Jefferson Street. And I don't think the group was connected. That was clear, obvious in the record that they had. But I think more so than just the connectedness of the players, I don't know if the right foundation was established from the top last season.
And I get it, it wasn't. And the coaching wasn't great. The identity wasn't great, right? But at the end of the day, he was talking about the players, right?
Sure.
Like, that quote is about the players, and
Sure.
the players could be frustrated, but you need to be unified in frustration that you share this common goal and it's not working out for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a unifying factor. Like, when some bullshit is going on and you're surrounded by people, like, you can either grow closer with them if you're all on the same page, or you can grow farther apart,
ways, yep.
right? And the problem last year was they went farther apart because they were not all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So that was frustrating. Couple things here. Zach Bossy, who is one of our sales guys, says, hey guys, how did your men's league basketball go last night? One of the players on the other team is Zach's friend. So Zach, you're an enemy, is what I'm saying.
Zach
and we'll see them in the
wow.
playoffs. It didn't go great.
Be your own coworker or something.
It didn't go great. By the way, this is for Sean and Sean only. Sean says, at Eric Ruby, would you rather have Torey Lovello manage a baseball game that determines whether you live or die, or jump into a pit of scorpions? I would rather jump into a pit of scorpions.
Wait, one more time?
Would you rather have Torey Lovello manage a baseball game that determines whether you live or die?
This is the Diamondbacks coach?
Yeah. Or jump into a pit of scorpions?
What's the end goal of jumping into a pit of scorpions?
You probably won't die. Maybe.
I was about to say, you sure about that?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, putting my life in the hands of Torey Lovello sounds like an awful time. And I think I am frustrated with Torey, and he makes some boneheaded decisions, but, like, the team has been at least decent under him. It's not like they're losing 100 games recently.
Mm-hmm.
Recently. That just sounds like hell right now. Bullpen game today was awful, but that's about it for PHNX.
I'm not qualified to answer that because I don't know enough about
Torey.
Said coach, yeah.
Didn't he play for the Cubs? I'm pretty sure Torey Lovello played for the Cubs.
I don't know enough about him as a general or a coach though. He might have played for the Cubs.
I'm pretty sure he played.
Which would explain why.
Oh, maybe his son His son played for the Cubs. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it. Yeah, having an MVP candidate bunt is crazy.
Oh,
that's
yikes.
like that's like
Lord.
telling Stephen to go like not talk about basketball. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, they're asking me to go to TMZ route.
It's like, you could do it, but like, why are we putting you in that situation? Love Y'all says he's like Monty with the vibes, but even less ball knowledge.
That's crazy.
Oh, man.
I appreciate you painting that picture for me. I understand where you're coming from now.
Appreciate all of you joining us here today. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Those of you who are sticking around with us, we do greatly appreciate you, psychos and sickos. If you do feel so inclined, you can become a diehard today or a member. You guys will be getting some exclusive full press conferences from the likes of Rasheer Fleming, Kaman Malawach, Oso Ighodaro. Like, we're going to have a lot of these full press conferences. We're not going to put them all on our public YouTube page. We're going to give a couple to the members and then a couple to the diehards. So want to just give you guys a heads up on that, and we'll let you know when those are posted in their entirety. We do appreciate every single one of you who are in here, and especially listening on audio, as well as we get closer to the preseason and the regular season. We're excited to jump into this and turn a new chapter here and really get into a new era of Suns basketball. Tomorrow, we're going to break down some more of what we took away from Media Day. We'll be talking about some of the rookies and some of the other role players like, Colin Gillespie, Grayson Allen, Oso Ighodaro, so on and so forth. So make sure you are tuned in for that. But until then, we will see you next time when we jump into a pit of scorpions as our cold open.
We all silly like the mayor.